Guys, welcome back to part two of your CONMEBOL World Cup qualifying recap. We already did part one, the biggest winners and losers. It was a beast of an episode. Y'all check that out on the channel now. Here in part two, we're going to be going through all 10 teams in South America, and we're going to give them a letter grade for their campaign. You guys let us know your grade for your national team only down below in the comments. And if you guys want to see more content about CONMEBOL, make sure you are subscribed. And please subscribe and follow Roberto and Martin on social media. Links will be in the description. I'll start it off. Let's do Colombia first, because I feel like there's going to be some disagreement here. I'm going to say B for Colombia.
C.
I'm going with C minus.
B minus.
Okay, so we got two haters on the bottom of the screen here. Here's why I think it's a B. Some pretty good wins from the cycle. Beating Argentina, beating Brazil, beating Paraguay. If you look at their points total from this window versus this campaign versus last campaign, they added 5 points to their total. So they did go up. Obviously didn't qualify last time. And I think being a non-giant of CONMEBOL, even though they made the Copa America final, they're still not like a layup team to qualify. I mean, Colombia often don't qualify for the World Cup. It's still a difficult process for them. And I think they handled all that well, and they scored the second most goals of any team, which that matters to me. Did it get ugly at times? Yeah, it did. Were there doubts about Lorenzo's manager? Yes. Is John Duran always a good player? Not at all. But I still think B overall. I think it was a moderately impressive campaign from Colombia. Either Martin or Connor, you guys are going lower than us. So what's the argument against? Why was it mid?
Martin?
Yeah, so you want it?
Yeah. Is that right?
Go. You got it.
All right. They did their job. They did the job. They completed the assignment. But you got to be subjective when you're grading these things. Okay? Otherwise, this is not an entertaining segment. Colombia is a student that is capable of so much more. They have such a tremendously high ceiling. And when we saw them flying high, they're capable of beating any team. I mean, at the top caliber, they're capable of beating any team on the planet. That being said, they took their sweet time locking in qualification. They're capable of so much more than what we saw. And I think the slumps and the vulnerability that we saw from them, I cannot give them B credit for that. I will give you just average. I think aggregate, it all averages out. It should not have taken until the very last window to do this. I like that you got it there. You pushed it through on the very last window, but that's a lot of procrastination, my man. And I can't help but think that you'd be a lot more prepared for this upcoming World Cup if maybe we had figured out a little bit of those issues, a few more of those issues a little bit earlier on. So I'm sticking with the C. Perfectly nonplussed by Colombia.
I said C minus because I agree with everything Connor says. We're talking about a team that has Daniel Munoz. Jack, you love him, one of the best fullbacks in world football. A player like Luis Diaz, who's only played one more year in Premier League and was the star player for Colombia in the Copa America final last summer. So that factors into, okay, they could have done a lot more. John Duran balling at Aston Villa, and I agree that he didn't have some of the best games. I remember against Ecuador, he missed like 3 open chances. I mean, collectively, they have good names, and it was just a little disappointing for me.
I'm going to very quickly counter these because I don't want this to be a 2-hour episode. I'll say 2 things. Number one, I actually think Colombia had a target on their back during this qualification cycle because of their performance at the Copa America. I don't think a lot of teams were disrespecting Colombia. I think they were looking forward to playing them. And Colombia had to experience what it's like to be Argentina and to be Brazil when people get up for you and they want to beat you because you made a Copa America final. And the second thing I'll say is I feel like a lot of the worst results from Colombia this cycle, I really feel like there was a bunch of games where they did good enough to either win or draw, and they didn't. And that's on Colombia, and that's why I can't go A. That'd be absolutely ridiculous. But like Bolivia away, they had 27 shots. The Bolivian goalkeeper's 13 saves because they just keep missing point blank after point blank. You talked about the Ecuador game. It was an amazing win for Ecuador, down to 10 men. Arias has some horrendous misses in that game. Same with John Duran. I think John Cordoba had a terrible miss. Uruguay conceding in the 90th minute to fumble that away in Montevideo. I think the performances were okay. And even good in a lot of cases, given the circumstances of Colombia and their reputation and the pressure that they were under after not qualifying in the last one and being Copa America finalists. Last rebuttals?
That's a good take.
Yeah, I agree.
You can say I have zero ball knowledge. That's fine. You do not have to agree with me.
Thank you. We can keep it moving, though.
No, I see it.
I'm sticking with the hard C.
I see
This
it. I
is
can
me
understand.
encouraging a struggling student to push forward.
Not a C plus,
into a
Connor.
higher tier.
I can't get you there.
Dude, I
No.
agree with, I mean, I can see your point of view, Jack. I can see it. But for me, as an Ecuadorian, looking at the Colombia team that they have, it's like, bro, come on. That's it.
I think that Colombia will have the greatest variation of people's grades down below in the comments. That's just my take, but that's my prediction because you can look at this one of two ways. Connor, let's go to Venezuela. Let's take Venezuela next. The team Colombia played match day 10. You say your grade, we'll go around, and then you break down why you got them where you have them.
Got it. You ready? F.
I'm ready. Okay. All right. Sorry.
Who's next?
F.
F.
I got a D plus. I got a D plus. Why do you have the F, Connor? Why does everyone have the F?
They were exciting at times, but they're disappointing overall. You see moments of brilliance, it's like I see what you are capable of. It's not there. It's just not there. And you can play as well as at home as you want, but if you've only got 4 wins and 4 draws, that one loss doesn't really matter much because you're leaving 9 points on the table. I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you're shaky at home, you got to do something away. And I'll tell you what, you make one more difference. This goes from being an F all the way up to, I'd go so high as to say a B. If you get 1 win away or 1 more win at home, whatever it is, frankly, it doesn't matter. It took this much more effort, this much more preparation to get it over the line. And you didn't. So I'm a hard line right there. This is pass fail. You failed. Full stop.
Okay. My one rebuttal to this and why I have a D plus and not a failing grade, I mean, D is pretty freaking bad, is that I never bought into the hype about this team. This is not a good team. Like, if you look at Venezuela's, what is their reputation? Automatic 6 points every single qualification cycle. They did take 18 points. They did have some good performances this window. It wasn't enough, but I don't see it as a cataclysmic failure because I don't see Venezuela as a very good team. That's my only rebuttal to this. That's the only reason I didn't go F.
They made me hope. So now
They made a lot of people
hope.
I went F because they absolutely fumbled it.
Yeah,
With like 6 matches left to go.
Exactly.
And they winning against Colombia in the last match week at home in the first half, and then losing 6-3, and Bolivia wins at home, which was something. There was a possibility. It was Brazil B team. So, yeah, that was a big fumble by Venezuela. F.
Yeah, I mean, you it was a good team that had a really good run, but ultimately you blew it in the final stage, and it's that. Like, if you're not able to pass the next round and go to the playoff, or even they were in a good spot to directly qualify too. Can't forget that they were in a good spot for there, and then you blow it in those final games when it was needed. Nope. F.
You needed just the draw in the last match week.
Exactly. And it was your first ever loss. You were formidable all through the campaign, beating better teams than Colombia, mind you, and you couldn't do it.
You got to finish strong, and they didn't. Full stop.
I don't know how many good teams they actually beat this cycle, but I take your point that they were good. at home. I mean, they got a lot of good draws.
They were
I
beaten. Like,
I know, but they also didn't beat anybody. They didn't beat Uruguay. They don't have the resume of Ecuador. They don't have the resume of Paraguay. I mean, they don't have the resume of
but
Bolivia.
No, but you can't compare them. Well, no. You can compare them to Bolivia, but you can't compare them to.
I know. That's just what I'm saying. I'm only countering, like, I don't think they really picked up any signature wins. We're going to get to some teams later who definitely got some signature wins. I'm just like, they got some signature draws. Cool. I don't know. I just don't think Venezuela are very good.
They were almost good the entire time. That's my rebuttal.
They almost showed that they were good. And then they ate 6 goals.
And that's why they got an F from me. Almost. You didn't make it across anyway, that's my rebuttal. I'm done. I ain't gonna take any more of our time.
Martin, it would be wrong if I didn't give you Ecuador. So give your grade and we'll go around.
A. Straight A.
Yeah, got to give them an A, you know.
I'm going A as well.
A.
From -3 to second place in the whole qualifying campaign, 29 points. Like, yeah, that is insane. And mind you, I don't know how you guys felt. Maybe Martin, you can feel this way. I did not have Ecuador this high up. I mean, they were going to qualify for sure, but I didn't expect second. No, probably nobody.
I don't think anyone expected second, especially with the -3. Mind you, we've had 2 managers throughout this qualifying cycle, so it was all odds against us. We didn't have a goal scorer really, and couldn't be that guy that he usually is in a World Cup or a small tournament. Great player, but he's getting old. He just moved to Mexico, so we need more goal scorers. But I think the defense really showed out. 5 goals scored, something historic. And the teams that they're playing at now, Hincapié, Arsenal, Pacha, PSG, Paris Supinana, Milan. So a lot of great things to come out of this, despite everything that negative that happened.
It was a historic qualification from many different angles. 5 goals conceded. That is tied for the fewest in qualifying history since going to the 10-team format. Do you guys know Ecuador's previous best for goals allowed in a cycle before this one?
Was it, 18, 16, something like that?
Yeah, it was definitely
16.
Yeah.
It was 16. That was their previous best. So they improved from 11 goals conceded during this cycle. 2 games lost, the lowest in Ecuador's qualifying history. The previous low was the 2002 team, which lost 5 times. So they cut that by more than in half. 8 wins is the second most. Only 2002 had more with 9. Without the 3-point deduction, Ecuador finishes on 32 points, which would have been their most points all time, 1 point above the 2002 team. Why I did not go A+, y'all got to score more goals, man. 14 goals scored. It sucks.
Same. That's why I didn't go A+.
I actually think it's your lowest you've ever scored in history. Unanimous A for the Ecuadorian national team. And I think that's pretty fair. A. Roberto, take Paraguay now from us.
A+.
A+? Okay. All right. This one was really tough. I'm going to go A- for Paraguay.
I'm going straight A. Right there.
Straight A? Okay. Yeah.
I'm going A- as well.
Okay. Why was it A+ perfect, immaculate, historic, there will be songs sung campaign, Roberto?
I mean, you said it right there. Historic. First World Cup in 16 years. The fact that, you know, they went through 2 different managers. You know, Martin talked about 1 different manager. We went through 2. They had scored 1 goal in 6 games. 1. And they beat the powerhouses, the big 3. They beat the big 3 at home, which I don't think a lot of countries did, actually, when you think about it. Did Ecuador do it? Did Colombia do it?
Yes, Ecuador did.
Ecuador beat Argentina.
No, they didn't beat Brazil.
We didn't beat Brazil. We
Nope.
tied.
Oh, no.
Exactly.
Colombia. Okay.
I think it was Colombia, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you get the results away from home in Bolivia, in Colombia too. They're both strong, and yeah, I think just this turnaround is just incredible. I think you have to give credit to it. So I have to give them, bias aside, whatever. But I still think like to do that sort of transformation from scoring 1 goal, barely beating Bolivia. Actually, I remember it was just 1-0 in the late goal, and then going to go have this transformation on Alfaro. You have to give credit to it, man. Honestly, so I have to give it an A+. And I'm only putting the A+ too for the Paraguay bias aside, but at least we're all in agreement that's an A, just different variations of how that A should be.
Agreed. I give him a straight A. I didn't give him an A+ because it took a while to get there, but it's like the lessons learned throughout Copa America, immediately coming outside of that, they turn into an all-star student. Like
They got most improved. I'll give them that. They got the most improved.
Yeah, for sure. Most improved, one of the top performers. I mean, these guys were unplayable. I mean, I remember the week before they were to play Argentina. I was like, no shot. No shot. I wasn't able to watch the game. I woke up the next morning and I saw the scoreline and I was like, you're kidding me. You're absolutely kidding me. That's when you're forced to take them seriously. I mean, they had a generational run after that. I mean, they
pretty much
are not consummate performers. You guys don't have the pedigree, but you came out firing and you said, I don't care who you are. I don't care what time it is. I want smoke. I don't know if we have many Naruto fans in the chat, but you're Rock Lee here. All right. You came out, you said, everybody's got these hands. I don't care. For free. On the street. Time and place. I'll be there. At home, away from home. Let's go. I loved it. It was awesome. Electric. And you know what? I'll say this. It took me a while to buy in.
Jack, I did tell you you're going to qualify. You remember the first episodes that we did on the show.
You did.
I did tell you that.
That was blind delusion. I'll give you that. But dude, as soon as y'all hired Alfaro, bro, I flipped so hard. The next EP, I was like, dude, Paraguay are going to freaking do it, man. Like, Alfaro's just the GOAT, dude. He's just such a... We didn't even talk about his Costa Rica tenure. Like, bro, he almost had them in the knockouts of the Copa America. He's locking down Brazil. He beat Paraguay in that Copa America and then took them over and loses 1 game out of 12. I have 1 bullet point for Paraguay. Basically Ecuador, but slower start and a better offense. Done. A-. Martin's upset about that, but we're just gonna have to keep it pushing.
No, it's obviously an A. I was dealing with A or A-. The minus comes from just, I think before the first match week, Paraguay was gonna make the World Cup. They should have, you know what I'm saying? That's what we were talking about earlier. I don't think they should have been 8th, 9th, or 10th. So that's where I guess the minus comes from, but they did fantastic in that run that they were beating everyone at home and getting good results. So, but the thing that didn't convince me, because Gustavo Alfaro coached Ecuador in the last cycle and went to the World Cup. I think the problem with Gustavo Alfaro, love him, great manager, but I think he reached his ceiling when we lost to Senegal in the World Cup and didn't qualify around 16.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking, like, when Ecuador played against Paraguay in the second to last match week, Ecuador should have won, I think. I feel like Ecuador should have won. So I just didn't really feel like, oh, okay, Paraguay on a good day, you can beat them.
I personally disagree with that, but it's fine. No, I think Alfaro also has that sort of like personal revenge for him as well, that he kind of now wants to go to this World Cup and feel like, hey, I need to do what I unfortunately couldn't do with Ecuador and take this Paraguay team to the next round and as far as it can go, you know. And I think it's good with like these friendlies coming up, like we played Japan, South Korea, US, and Mexico. I think that is a good barometer to hopefully measure ourselves against, you know, the powerhouses of the other continents, and maybe get one European team out there to see how good we are.
I want to say one quick thing, and I agree with what Martin is saying here. What team is easier to beat in a neutral venue at a World Cup? I do think it's Paraguay. I think y'all are so freaking good at the Chaco that you could probably beat Spain there right now. Like, I'm fully convinced you would beat Spain 1-0 or something like that. And Sanabria would have another bicycle kick. But I think Ecuador travels a little bit better than Paraguay do. So I'm not saying that you guys are going to flunk it at the World Cup, but and hopefully I want you guys to do well, and I love Alfaro, and I think the Copa America getting 4 points in Costa Rica in the group of death, I thought that was a pretty big dub. They still didn't advance, but took 4 points with Costa freaking Rica. I want to see him do something now with Paraguay, and I think that he will at the World Cup. Let's keep it moving, though, for the sake of time. I will do. God, you know what? Let's take another controversial one here with a bit of range. Uruguay. I got a C+.
Okay. I've never been so confident of anything else in my life. B-.
Okay.
C-.
Ooh.
C+.
C+. Okay. Martin, you were the biggest hater here. Why are you going C- for Uruguay?
It's just another. It's similar to Colombia. What I said, just Uruguay with Bielsa, historic manager. That it was just so much hype for them to go into this World Cup qualifying campaign. They have great players. Darwin Núñez was lighting up for Uruguay before and made his move to Liverpool, obviously. And dude, they have a really good team and good defenders, a great goalkeeper. I just thought beating them here in Quito was a little too easy, and it shouldn't be like that. While we still don't have a forward, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was about to
So
say it did feel a bit weird, like when I was at the game when we played Uruguay, beating them. Usually those games are very tight. I don't remember Paraguay being so convincing against Uruguay than what I saw a couple months ago, and that concerns me a bit actually for the World Cup because
Yeah.
remember this is a former world champion. Okay, they won it 75 years ago, but still, like, come on, you gotta give respect to them for being that sort of team. But yeah, I have really bad. I have a really bad feeling about what they're going to do in the World Cup. That it's not going to click. Really isn't.
I have a C+ because I think this team had pretty high expectations, and there was hype for Uruguay. You know, the Diego Alonso era was an L, and Uruguayans were pissed off about it. In comes Marcelo Bielsa, El Loco. He's going to take this Uruguayan team, and he's going to take him to the next level. And he did for about 6 months, and then it just kind of crashed. The Luis Suarez interview, all that stuff. Outside of that, to their credit, they don't really have a bad loss in the cycle. Their worst loss for me is Peru away off a set piece late. I mean, it happens. It wasn't a disaster class. It happens. Didn't get blown out in the cycle either. They didn't have a 4-0 L like they did in the 2022 cycle. But holy shit, it was boring as hell the entire time. But since the Copa America, probably the worst watch was Uruguay of any team. I just couldn't do it. I was falling asleep every time.
I love Valverde, and at the time it was Ugarte who was coming up. And I remember when we played Uruguay at home, Ecuador debuted Kendry Páez for the first time, and everyone was so nervous, like he's too young. How is he going to start against Uruguay? They're a strong team. It's Bielsa. Darwin Núñez is on form. And Kendry Páez was with Moises Caicedo were just dancing around these guys. It was insane to watch because we won, I believe, 2-1.
Yeah.
And it should have been way more. I feel like it should have been 4-1. So that I agree with Roberto there. They just weren't threatening in the eye test or yeah.
When they came out of the gate firing with Bielsa, they passed the eye test. They punched everybody in the freaking teeth, and they set the stage. And we've seen that they're capable of some really excellent stuff. Outside of that, they've been tiptoeing through the Bielsa era with mediocrity. Just
mediocrity.
Mediocre the entire time. And I think the match ban hurt them pretty significantly. So I was going to give them a little edge for that coming out. Setting Darwin up for a banger season right before that. But, I mean, it is what it is. I gave them a little edge here, but I'd be okay dipping down to a C. Man, I
think
said
a
I'd
B-
never been
is
so
the
certain of
ceiling.
anything in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, you guys are
I'm
not
like,
gonna
I'm
sway
not
me.
budging from this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I'll
I
do a
could be
C.
brought down. Yeah. Yeah, I can say ceiling is B- for Uruguay. I don't see an argument for anything higher than that. It started so well, and it's just been poor since then. Okay, Connor, let's do Argentina now.
Okay. You think we can
What you
do it in
got?
30 seconds or less?
I think so.
It's a A plus.
A plus.
They're fantastic. They were excellent. They finished. They were consummate performers. And I mean, really, the key to winning CONMEBOL is performing away. And they performed away. We lost to some teams that we needed to lose to. Just some really excellent teams. Shout out to you two gentlemen.
I'm going with B, gentlemen, for Argentina.
Ooh, Roberto, what you got?
No, I'll be simple. A. We'll say A.
All right, I went A minus. Why'd you go B, Martin? Hater again in the bottom left.
Obviously, it's a great that the wins against Brazil was insane. Great stuff. Probably the best highlight of their World Cup qualifying campaign. Obviously, the points that they've made is very good, right? But it's something that I was talking about with this Argentina English content creator. He was saying, no, Spanish content creator, sorry. He was saying, I don't know if you know him, Benja. He's a big Boca Juniors fan, and he does stuff with Ecuador. Anyways,
I think I've heard of it.
okay, so basically I gave him a B because there's players like Nico Paz, Mastatono, Julian Alvarez that could be like the new face of the generation that's coming, right? The young players that are standing out. But the 2022 winners and up to 2023, 2024 last year, they're all getting old, brother. DeadBall is in Inter Miami. Messi's gonna play his last tournament here. There's no Dybala. The defenders don't excite me like Valerdi or Gonzalez. Dibu Martinez, great psychological goalkeeper that threats other players, but he's not the best goalkeeper in the world. I don't know if they're gonna be so good, and I think the last year for me brought me Argentina from an A to a B. We beat Ecuador, beat them 1-0 at home, and I think we outschooled them. We were screaming "Ole, ole, ole" throughout multiple times in the game, and it was great. I've never experienced anything like that, and I'm kind of feeling scared for Argentina for the next World Cup.
They did rotate and get a red card in the first half.
Yeah, Ecuador
Just for
did too.
context. Yeah, but Moises got his in the second half. So y'all had like 40 minutes up a man.
We could have stopped, but Emi Martinez at great goalkeeper, right there. I'll tell you what. I think I'm inclined to agree that we have a lot of the older generation that are ready to be phased out. A lot of the iconic players. That being said, Paredes is a lot younger than I remember. He's 31 years old. I'm pretty sure. So
No,
he's
I
got
think
this World Cup.
McAllister, I missed him out. McAllister, great player, and he's in
Yeah.
great form. But Paredes is washed.
Absolutely not. That is criminal to
Didn't
say.
look washed against Venezuela.
It did not look washed. Listen, hold on. And even then, you don't need him to be a talented player, but we don't have to do a deep. Listen, he's there to do the job that he did against the Netherlands. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need a Caicedo. Not every center defensive mid has to be the best player in his position. You know what he has to do? He's got to piss off Caicedo.
That's good.
And when
That's
he does
hard.
that, you got a red card.
Dude, I don't
And
think
then it
Paredes
doesn't
is
matter how
starting.
good you are.
I don't think Paredes is starting in the World Cup. That's my hot take.
I think he'll get a couple. I think he'll get a couple starts probably.
I think he starts a
I
couple.
think so.
I
But
hear what you're
agree
saying,
with you.
Martin.
Yes.
They are getting older, but they're still playing really well. Like, that's my thing. If they were getting older and then they just like fell off, then I'd be like, like they're in big trouble. But
Bro,
I don't really think they fell off like that.
Paraguay outschooled them at home. Ecuador schooled them at home.
But that to say that is saying that, like, that's That's like saying that
Like I just think
Argentina
they're too overrated.
lowered a level. I think you guys took a
Paraguay
step
gets up
up,
every
and
time
that's
to
a
Argentina.
credit to Paraguay, and it's a credit to Ecuador that you guys have grown in this
Yes,
capacity.
but I think me and Roberto would both agree that we still need an extra thing to say, okay, like be that confident. For example, Ecuador forward goal scorers. We're not the best Ecuador team that we can be yet. So that's I guess I know what you're saying, Connor, but I feel like they're getting a little overrated and talked about from the team that they were 2 years ago or 18 months ago.
Okay.
Okay. I think you're dead wrong.
We'll see. We'll see,
Maybe
brother.
not. Maybe
We will
not dead
see.
wrong. Maybe not dead wrong. Yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
I mean, they did beat down Brazil harder than anybody did in this cycle.
We had a very good signature win. I gave them an A+ because we got everything that I wanted out of this. We got beat by the teams that I like. We didn't lose to any of the teams that I don't like. We
It
finished
can't
top.
be an A+ though, because that means that it was the best qualifying cycle, and I think all context included, it can't be. Like, just one stat for why I can't go A- is y'all didn't lose a game last cycle. Not one game you lost last year. You lost 4 this time. Dude, that's a pretty significant increase. And you were rotated against Ecuador. Yes, you lost I'll say, to counter myself, it's still freaking hard to beat Argentina. How did Colombia beat you? Penalty kick. How did Paraguay beat you? A freaking Puskás nominee goal. How did Ecuador beat you? Down to 10 men in the first half with a rotated team. Yes, Ecuador 100%.
Them too. You got to remember they beat them at home.
Uruguay.
That was the
smacked us,
ass
though.
whooping. That was the ass whooping.
But we needed that. We got really good after that. After that ass whooping,
and they got worse after that.
They did.
That was the fall
because they made a deal with the devil. Bielsa did some sort of black magic ritual and
against his own country. No way. Surely not.
Anyways, look, I think we all agree it was a good qualifying cycle. I just can't go A+ because Argentina looked more vulnerable. I do think there was probably a bit of a lag. They're World Cup champions. They're Copa America champions. They probably didn't care as much as they normally would. But they still
Copa America champions.
Still finished first. Martin, let's do Chile. Let's get these guys out of the way.
Chile D.
D? Okay. Gracious of you.
F. If you're the worst team of the qualifier, what else are you going to give them?
I'm giving them a D just to give them a little passing grade.
Dude, they lost to Bolivia at home.
No,
this is overly merciful, Martin. This is overly merciful.
This is the worst.
But everyone knew they weren't gonna qualify.
Really, everyone.
That's not true. That's not
true at all. No.
That's not true.
We're gonna.
Well, as an Ecuadorian, I felt that way, so that's why.
But that's everybody. There's everyone else too. Can't speak for the whole world.
Yeah. When they appointed Gareca,
like
people
Robin
definitely
Hood.
thought
He's
they were
ready
going
to
to qualify.
Talk smack about all the big boys, but when it comes to Chile,
I just love
it.
That the minus 3 points, the minus 3 points to Ecuador was crazy, and we knew that these guys were trash. They're not going to qualify. So to see them go last place is comical. And I'm going to give him a D because I think it was expected anyways, 10th or 9th, 8th.
You're going more on from a comedic standpoint rather than actual football.
Comedically, it was a D.
I think Venezuela at the time, after the Copa America, they were definitely going to go in. I knew a player like Villamil from Bolivia, and it's hard to play in El Alto, so it was interesting to see how this, a lot of teams, how they can qualify. Bolivia could take that to advantage, which they did. But it wasn't. I don't know. I just feel like Chile, they had a trash team, bro. Like, how are you still playing Alexis Sanchez and Vidal?
Because they don't have
which is why you give them that grade, because they were so bad.
But I knew they were going to not
silver
qualify,
linings
so
to take out of this campaign. It's an F.
Straight up.
But I see what Martin's doing, because I'm kind of doing that with Venezuela, where I'm like, I went with the D, everybody else went F, because I'm like, I didn't think they were going to do it. So I respect I respect going with a D. I'm just going F because when they appointed Gareca, I expected better than this. I thought that they were probably going to finish between 6 and 8. 6 would have been an amazing campaign. They were probably going to the Intercontinental Playoff. And instead, it was literally the worst cycle, the worst team, the worst performances in Chilean history with Ricardo Gareca as manager. That's why it's an F for me.
Yeah.
I think it's a fat F. Okay. Roberto, why don't you do, who do we have left? Bolivia. Let's do Bolivia.
Oh, God. C plus.
I'm right there with you. C plus.
Give him a D.
A.
They haven't qualified yet. They have not
Hey.
qualified for the no.
Listen,
A. It's Bolivia.
Drag mine down
bro.
to C
It's
minus. Drag mine
Bolivia.
down to C minus.
listen. I was looking at it, and I know we all like the inspiring story by Bolivia, and everybody's going to point to their home record. Their ability to play at home only looks good to us because of how bad they are everywhere else. I was looking at it. I was like, this is really not good. This is not great. They're not good anywhere. They had a couple of really good moments, and their guys who were scoring goals were scoring them in droves. They got lucky that Venezuela was mediocre.
Mhm.
No, not even mediocre. They got lucky that Venezuela fumbled the bag on the last day, and they pulled the result out of a hat miraculously against a B team.
Yeah, the
And
same
now they
losses.
might qualify.
They
Say
have the
again.
same losses. They have the same losses as Peru. If you look at it right now, 10 losses.
They're not good.
They're
Bolivia
not good.
is not a good team.
Now, if they had a signature win, if it was Brazil's starting 11, and they smacked them down 2-0, or you give me one more win in there, then we can have a conversation. I can move it up to D, probably even B. But I think that C area, that mediocrity for them is hard to determine, right?
Mm-hmm.
D it's still bad. It's so hard for them to be mediocre because if they overperform, it's like, oh, really good. I want to give you a B. If they underperform, I want to give you an F. You know, it's sad. D seems appropriate. It's just
They broke. I'm glad that they broke the sort of, camel. I guess I don't even know if it's the right expression, but they broke the streak of winning away. At least they have that. That's good for them. But it's not going to matter if they don't qualify when, I don't know, Nigeria smacks them or Coast Panama or whatever smacks them in Mexico in March. So does it really matter?
No, you're right. That's why I'm dragging mine down actually to C minus. They are the definition of home merchant if you look them up in the dictionary. They're not good. It's not their fault that they live in the mountains. It's not their fault that El Alto's really tall. Any national team would take advantage of that. But you do have a competitive advantage against every single team that you play when they visit your stadium. That very few teams.
You still can't even win games.
Yeah, and you still lost a couple games at home this cycle. Argentina beat you. Ecuador beat you. That wasn't in El Alto, but those are still losses at home.
Mm-hmm.
They got beat by everybody at the Copa America when it was in the States, and every single away game they conceded 3 goals. They're a punching bag away from home. But still, I don't know if they were the betting favorite to make the Intercontinental Playoff. That's why I will go C minus. Because I think Peru, Chile, Venezuela probably would have felt like we can maybe do better than Bolivia. And they didn't. None of them did. So C minus. Should we go to Peru?
Can I explain why I gave them an A?
Oh my God, you give them an A?
He did.
I forgot that. Okay, yeah. Why is the A?
Dude, I agree with everything you guys are saying. They are a bad team. They're gonna have trouble in the playoffs. But guys, they finished 7th. We're talking about the positioning, how well they did. 7th place. dude, no one even thought they were gonna get 8th. It was last it was last, man.
Why are we praising mediocrity then? What's the point if we're giving Fs to teams like Chile, Peru?
Because we're talking about each different team has a different thing. Like the Bolivia fans are overwhelmed that they got 7th. They did excellent, but
It's
obviously
not
a team like
unprecedented. They've been to the World Cup.
They've been to the World Cup before.
yes, but guys, we're talking about a team who you guys are saying that sucks, and I agree with you.
And they
They're
do.
they're not that good. But no one thought they would be 7th place and have a chance to go to another World Cup.
So you give them an A?
By
I'm
the
giving
letter
them
of the
an A.
law, they suck.
I was thinking they were gonna finish 10th. For them to finish 7th and by Peru, by Chile, dude, by Venezuela, hands off to Bolivia. They did it, bro.
This is a tough one because if we're going pass fail, I'd be happy to give them an A for making it in. There's part of me that is like, yes, I'm very happy that you made it. This is a tremendous achievement. Kudos. But I had to take a long look at it and say, am I going to give a good grade for this performance here? And I'm probably being hypocritical somewhere else on the list, but like, I don't know. It was mediocre. I never watched a Bolivia game. It was like, man,
Dude,
what a great use of 90 minutes of my life,
If Peru have El Alto, they finish 7th.
Yeah, okay, but tell me if any one of you guys disagree, but tell me one person that thought Bolivia was gonna be the team that got 7th.
But that's not the point. The fact that they still haven't made it is not like you're praising them for them making it.
It wasn't unthinkable. It wasn't unthinkable either. I mean, they do
Would you have given an A if it was Chile or Peru?
To Chile, yes, because they were trash as well.
I might have given Chile an A.
That
would have been a miracle.
Peru, no, because they could have done better than obviously what they did. But
I would have given them an A for Advíncula right there.
Roberto, if after the 2022 World Cup, if you told me the new format came out, 6 teams are qualifying, the 7th goes to the playoff.
Yeah.
And I said, what place is Bolivia finishing? You would have said 10th or 9th.
I said 10th. I'll happily admit that.
Dude, so you got to give them an A or.
Why do we have to give them an A? You act like this is like the standout. Oh my god!
They got in.
They jumped
three
teams,
feels
three
like
good
fluke.
teams. Like
it doesn't feel like they earned it. It feels like it was mediocre, and they got
smashed
lucky
in the playoffs. If they get smashed in the playoff, then that just really just takes out any credibility of that A. Honestly,
I
don't think they were a consensus 10th. I don't think the consensus was 10th. I think everybody thought Peru was going to finish last. If I had to pick one team,
admittedly, I picked them 7th. Actually, I picked them 7th in my prediction.
You did.
I did.
I think I had Chile up there for Gareca or something like that.
The Gareca hire had me really bullish on them.
Yeah.
But no, their managers have been booty as well.
Oh yeah, that's why I gave them an A, because no one would have thought that. So kudos to them.
Yeah.
Martin's very nice, depending on the nation.
Yeah. Depending on the nation.
It's his neighbor. It's his neighbors. That's why.
But Bolivia, huge fan. Argentina, D-, even with 38 points. He was like, we beat your ass 1-0.
I did not say
y'all are going out the group stage. Is what he said.
B. I said B. I said B- or B.
Yeah.
He said Argentina out in the group stage. Mexico disqualified before entry. Ecuador.
All right. Gentlemen, let's wrap this up. Roberto, let's do Brazil now.
Oof. Here's a good one. D+.
I couldn't decide between D+ or C-.
I'll go with C- then, just to be a little different.
D+.
Come on, Jack.
Okay.
Give us one. Give us one letter grade. Come on.
One.
I'll go.
You gotta lock it in.
Lock it in.
I'll go D+, man.
Yeah, it's fine.
This team is too gassed up. I'm sick of these Ballon d'Or nominee frauds running up and down the pitch. All of them doing F-all every single game. It's just man. It's embarrassing. They lost 5 games in the last 4 qualifying cycles. cycles, and they lost 6 in this one. Brazil's
And the
lucky we
worst-
didn't go straight F.
And the worst is that
Yeah.
they lost at home for the first time.
And they drew Venezuela at home. Venezuela's arguably greatest result of the entire freaking cycle was drawing Brazil away for the first time ever. Nah, man, this is and the paliza, the ass whooping that Argentina gave these guys in that game. The more I talk about D minus actually. The more I go, the lower this rating is going. D minus
At least they
for
qualified.
Brazil.
Hey, at least they qualified.
You don't get to say that if you're Brazil, Roberto. You don't get to say that. If you don't finish top 2, it's an L. It's an L. And you finish
Dude.
5th.
You
Yeah,
have arguably the most stacked lineup in South America. Probably definitively, you have the most stacked lineup in South America. Maybe you could debate
Best
that with
talent
Argentina.
pool, maybe.
The best talent pool. How about that? Yeah, I like that. Thank you. Terrible follow through. And I'll say it a million times. They did not have an identity. They didn't have anybody that was able to lock them in, that they gravitate around. You know, Argentina has Scaloni and Messi and, you know, a lot of smaller leaders in there as well. But Brazil didn't have anybody to rotate around. And in the middle of this identity crisis, they had the unfortunate opportunity to catch, I think it was, who was it? Was it Venezuela, who they drew to? Then Uruguay, Colombia, and Argentina back to back in October, November 23rd, or of 2023, excuse me. That is an insane lineup to catch in the middle of your most embarrassing period as a footballing federation. That is terrifying. Super unlucky there, which is why I gave him a C. Outside of that, I'd go to a D. There's a little bit of unlucky here that I'm giving him a margin of error for. Outside of that, yeah, no, talking smack before you get run up on by Argentina, like it looked too easy. I felt bad by the end of the day. Like I have Brazilian people in my life that I care about. I don't want to hurt their feelings like that. Huh?
I didn't feel bad at all.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
And I didn't in the moment. It was after. You know, I woke up the next morning and I was like, I gotta relax. You know?
You got 5 World Cups and now you want pity? No. No, doesn't work like that.
I would agree with Jack. I'm going to D minus because that was a yikes. 5th place, but at least, I mean, they didn't. I mean, new manager Ancelotti, they can turn things around. Players like Joao Pedro, you know, but we've been saying this for the last 4 years, so it's getting kind of scary for Brazil.
Yeah,
guys, do you know how many points they had last cycle?
33.
In the 40s, right?
33. Damn, Martin, you thought they were ass. No, 45.
I was about to say, yeah, definitely.
45 points last cycle. They had 28 this time. They got 17 points worse. I don't think we will ever see that again. 17 points worse.
Famous last words, my guy.
Let's see what freaking. Actually, someone check how many points freaking Chile had last time. It was probably low 20s, maybe. I don't know. The point is, it was an L. It's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Junior was a fraud, but the players have to be better. It doesn't matter. You have to be better. And they weren't. And so it's, yeah, look, maybe they turn it around at the World Cup. We're not grading their World Cup performance for all the people who will check this video in a year. We're grading their qualification performance, which was well below Brazilian standards, who's a team that's supposed to make the World Cup final every single time. And it sucked. Okay. Peru. Jeez, man. I'm going to go D minus as well.
I got an F.
You got an F. Okay.
D minus.
F. All the teams that didn't make it get an F.
All of them.
Well, there's 3 of them, so it's Venezuela, Chile, and Peru. So yeah. You
I
had
had
to
to
be
should
that
not
bad.
rationalize that.
You had to be that bad to not qualify. I mean, come on. You gotta.
Do
I
we
had
not
to
take
rationalize
mercy
it
upon
for
the talent
Venezuela,
pool?
but I think I'm with you. On
That's
that.
what I'm saying, Jack. That's what I'm saying. I agree with Jack there. You gotta. Some teams are different. You can't just because they didn't qualify give them an F. Like Peru is also a team that I just didn't think they had good players or a manager. I didn't think they were gonna be in the top 7. So it's like yeah they didn't make it all right, but I'm not like shocked like Peru didn't make it F either.
I think you meant to say 9 really bad players, 1 okay player, and then 1 really, really good player. Like 1
Bro, this team
really
is
good, but like standout player.
this team is not talented.
No.
No, it's not. No,
Yes,
it's not.
it was, because they waited so long to not go to the World Cup. Then they barely missed out against Australia, and now who knows if they'll be back in 2030? Well, depends on the format, but yeah, it sucks for them.
It
The
does.
thing is, like, they even had some like decent performances. Like they drew Colombia away. Probably should have beat Colombia in that game. They beat Uruguay at home. They actually didn't lose to Colombia in the cycle.
They drew Paraguay.
Um,
At home.
drew Paraguay. I think Brazil beat them at home in like the 90th minute. Connor, I think you and I were watching that game together. I don't know. They're not good. Like, are they more talented than anyone? Are they more talented than Venezuela? I think Venezuela arguably is a better team right now.
Venezuela does have a better team. I think you can lock that in.
Maybe Bolivia, but even Bolivia's attack is better than Peru's attack. It
Yep.
is. Peru's
Chile.
defense is better. That's the one. That's the one. And
Yeah.
choosing between that is like, I mean, it's not a good option, no matter which door
I would
you go
rather
down.
not eat dinner. That's like choosing
I'd rather not
between
eat dinner.
2. Yeah, I'm going to bed hungry.
Intercontinental playoff last time, though, lads. Down to 9th. It's not great.
Yep. No, not great.
It's not great. All right, who bounces back first? Peru or Chile? Last question of the pod.
Peru.
That's a crazy. I don't know. So
Are they both doomed forever?
yes, I think the only shout you could give would be I guess Chile for Osorio, but because Peru, I don't. There's not one player that I think is coming up.
No, but I think on average, you'll see more of an influx of new talent. I think Chile is still dealing with the after effects of the pandemic. I think Peru, we saw a little bit of fight in them here and there. You know, they have the dreams and aspirations of the Intercontinental Playoff in the last cycle. So I think that they have a horizon. Chile, I think Chile is deep in the bowels of the underworld. They're lost in the dark right now. They need a light, and Gareca was that light, and then he wasn't very quickly.
They're hosting the U20 World Cup in a couple of weeks actually, so maybe something comes out of there. Maybe that gives them a little bit of, national team boost. But yeah, I think Peru are the ones that bounce back if I had to choose between one of the two.
What's hilarious is their FIFA ranked higher than Paraguay. I don't know how much longer that's going to last. For now, until the next update comes through. But anyways, guys, that is it. Those are your performance grades for every single South American team during World Cup qualifying. Let us know down below in the comments, what did we say that you violently disagree with? Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel so you do not miss future CONMEBOL videos, because this is far from the last South American video that's going to be here on the channel. We have some friendlies even coming up between some CONCACAF and CONMEBOL opposition. So Martin will probably be back on the channel to preview something for Ecuador, and Roberto hopefully for Paraguay as well. And then I think Argentina's got some massive friendlies upcoming against India and Puerto Rico. We will be doing previews for those as well. So if you don't want to miss that and everything else about South America here on DeadBall TV, make sure you're subscribed. If you're listening on streaming platforms, give the podcast a 5-star rating. Smash the like button. We appreciate you guys for watching. We'll see y'all in the next one.